Guys, welcome. We're going to be doing a tier list today, post PHNI, Phantom Nightmare, if you need to know what that means. I actually just thought I filmed the whole video, realized that I didn't press record. So here we are, we're doing it again, right? And instead of going one by one, since I already have the whole list made, we're just going to scroll up tier by tier, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Rogue tier and then work all the way up to tier 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and get punched in. So let's do it. Alright, so we're going to scroll up. Rogue, we have here Ashend and Goblin Rider, Mathmech. Right? These decks you don't want to touch. I like the Ashend artwork. I like the concept of the deck. Seems like it's a very good deck against field spell reliant decks. However, we don't have any information from the OCG to see if it's viable. Also, it's brand new TCG exclusive that doesn't have a lot of support right now. So, sure, you can pick up the core, have a little fun with it at locals or smaller tournaments, but I wouldn't take it to a regional and I wouldn't take it to a YCS. It's not proven to be good yet. Of course, people won't know what it does. However, it doesn't mean that the strategy is strong enough to beat other decks right now. Obviously, Goblin Rider is a new archetype as well. Really good at XYZ. Dismantellation, I guess, is the word for it. But you can see that it could be strong against Pearly. Alright, you remove one of the cats to summon it. And then you pretty much win that duel. However, overall as a strategy, don't think that's very viable right now. Maybe later down the road. And Mathmech for obviously reasons. Circular is the card I put here because it's the banned card. Don't play the deck. I put it on the list because of Meow Mine. It's a Cybers. However, that doesn't mean that makes Mathmech good. So, stay away from these decks, man. Don't touch these decks. Alright, let's scroll up to the next tier, which is tier 2. That's going to be these decks. Right here. That's going to be Unchained, Orcus Horus, Runic, Flu, Sword Soul, Dragon Link, Hero, Goaty, Vanquish Soul, and Makanko. Alright, I can talk about a little bit of one of these, right? Makanko, without Isolde, not the greatest. Let's go Vanquish Soul. Strong because it can play Tikaboo. It can also play D-Shifter. And I put respect on this deck. A lot of people don't respect this deck. I put a little bit of respect on it because it's been topping still. It actually has been still topping. Last month, literally like the 27th of January, a week or two ago, it topped another event. How is this deck bad if it's topping like events with more than 300 people? I'm not sure. Just put some respect on it, man. Goaty I put here as well because the new support cards are custom, man. This deck is going to come out of nowhere, I promise you. Watch. People are going to start playing this deck and understanding that, maybe they should have paid a little bit more attention to what these cards can do and what they can accomplish and what the whole goal of the deck is. I believe this is also a TCG exclusive, so OCG won't give us any type of hints on what it can accomplish. So I think it can be interesting to dabble with this deck, pick up the core while it's cheap, and find out, what it can do, its potential. Hero, Hero does Hero things. It's the archetype with the most support. Dragon Link, no one really plays this deck. The representation is very low, and we're in a drill format, so boom. Sword Soul has actually been finding some success. It has been topping some events. That's why I put it here and not on Rogue. More success than Dragon Link and any of these decks before it. So I think this is a good spot for it. Flu's here because of Shifter and a Floodgate of M-Pen. Stops Link decks. And an endless resource cycle. So that's why that's here. Runic. I don't really like Runic, but, it does its job well of being able to just out-resource your opponent with a fountain. Anyway, Orcus is up here because this is the Orcus Horus package together. Horus carries this deck. Without Horus package, this deck wouldn't be good in my opinion. It would be Rogue. So Horus is really the reason why it's up here. Unchained, I believe this is a good spot to put it tier 2 just because it obviously with only one Shavara, it lost its gas. You need to have really strong resource management. So basically be a top player in Yu-Gi-Oh to make it feel like you have 3 Shavara with this deck and continue to do Unchained things. Also, this deck is in a weird position because it pops things. And little spoiler alert: certain decks like to be popped, and it gives them advantage. Those are going to be up on the list somewhere. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to tier 1.5. Okay. Oh, little spoiler. Tier 1.5. So here we have it. We have tier at the top of 1.5. This deck recently won a YCS remote duel with 500 plus players in it, and proving that it's still viable. This deck is not gonna, tier is never gonna die. Everyone knows tier is not gonna die. When Lightsworn comes out, I bet you that's gonna give this deck inherent support as well. Man, tier is gonna be around forever. Just keep it in your back pocket whenever you may need it. Okay. We have Vanadium. We have Vanadium's here. I think it's a strong deck, but we're in a drill format as well. So who knows where this is going to end up. I still think it's top of 1.5. It's not the greatest deck. And it's kind of a mid-tier option to me. We had the new Rika Sun Avalon Aroma deck. It could be a pile. It could be 40 cards, depending on how you're going to play the deck. But I think it's strong. It's going to be slept on. People are not going to know what the cards do. The end board is incredible. And the resources are great. 1-card starters, multiple of them. So, good deck here. I like this. I like this viability option here. Labyrinth has issues. It loses to Bell and Ash still. Even with transaction rollback, paying half your life points is a heavy cost. And it could just the target can just get DD crowed and you're kind of screwed. So, Labyrinth is in the middle of 1.5. Pearly's here. And it's going to stay here because I don't think any of the ban list changes are going to change anytime soon. You don't have a guaranteed Noir anymore, and you don't have a guaranteed Plump. What you can do with my friend Pearly is do 1 Delicious, 2 Sleepy, so you can have guaranteed one of them. But at the same time, what if you need one for a specific situation? So it's a little weird, it's a little awkward. Also, the deck relies on RNG. So it's just weird position. It's just a weird positioning, especially with the pops going on. The cats need to be on the field to resolve their effect to rank up, right? So there's untargeting pops, such as Kieran, that will take care of Pearly pretty easily. Okay. I don't really want to talk about Chimera Branded. It's just a deck that has been kind of there. No one really cares about playing it. No one really cares for the deck. It did get 1 illusion card in this post Phantom Nightmare set that is pretty interesting. It's the Candle guy. It's an illusion monster. But other than that, I don't think anyone really wants to touch this deck anymore. It's just, I think it got figured out pretty fast. Next, this one's interesting. Raid Raptor. This deck is insane. It ends on 3 towers and 2 interruptions. People are going to sleep on this deck, man. No one's going to want to read the cards. It could be good. It could possibly be good for a long-term event, like a regional or a YCS, simply because no one's going to prepare for this at all. No one. Apparently, you can get outed pretty easily by the Fire King deck, but I have to see it to believe it. I think you would have to draw specific cards to have that happen, and not have a good Raid Raptor player reacting to the correct things for that deck. So that's that. That's that. All right, let's move on up. And boom, our last tier here. I can just go all the way up because there's none. Spoiler alert: none in tier 0. None in tier 0. We're not in that type of format. But boom, this one is kind of interesting, right? This tier has the same amount of decks in 1.5. We have Kashtira, Branded Despia, Centurion. We have Rescue Ace, Fire King, Snake Eyes, that whole variant. This is not pure. This is also not pure. It has the Wanted engine in it as well. So Diabellstar, Rescue Ace. Diabell Starfire, King Snake Eye. This is Voices of Voice, and obviously this is Pure Snake Eye. Pure Snake Eye, I believe, is going to be insane. The amount of advantage that you get off of one card Bonfire will be just ridiculous, or Snake Eye Ash normal summon, ridiculous. However, it's not tier 0 because decks keep it in check. Decks keep all these decks in check, right? So we have Kashtira that kind of keeps Fire King in check because of Shifter, and also its banishing effects, banishing face down, banishing from the extra deck, banishing from the deck, from the hand, from the graveyard. You know, Kashtira is known for that, so it kind of keeps that deck in check. Also, Voice is something that's slept on. People are not respecting this deck. We have OCG data that shows us Voice is viable, strong, and it can go back and forth with Snake Eyes. So that's good. I mean, that's something that we need, something to check these bigger decks that may cause a problem in the meta, right? Branded is up here because it's kind of the deck that never dies. It endlessly floats. Getting stuff back all in end phase. Playing in the end phase is just kind of weird and something that is hard to deal with. Something that's very hard to deal with. So, Branded Bespia is up here. Centurion has the Calamity Lock, which is very... Oh, also, this has Gimmick Lock still, by the way. But Centurion has Calamity Lock, which is just as bad as Gimmick Lock. So these two have unfair dynamics to the deck, which make it tier 1 because that's part of Yugioh, right? If you lose the skill drain, doesn't matter what deck it is in, the deck can play it around it, you're losing, right? That's unfair dynamic, like Dark World. So here we go. This is the whole tier list. Let me know what you would change, go up and down. What would be a deck that I missed out on that should be on this list? And if you think any tier 0 decks exist, I mean, I know most people are going to say probably the Fire King stuff or the Fire decks should be in tier 0. Let me know if you think that's true and tell me why. I mean, I'm pretty interested to know. Also, I want to know your opinions on the new decks that came out, right? The Ashen, the Goblin Riders, Raid Raptor support, Goaty. Let me know what you think about these decks and how they're going to improve the new Aroma support. Let me know what's going to happen there. I do have a tab up. I'm sure you guys see this right here. I'm going to show you. This is a remote duel YCS with more than 500 people in it. This deck won the whole event. It's Horus Danger tier elements. What's unique about this deck, man? What changed? I'll tell you what changed. They don't have Yugioh and Kelbeck anymore, and it's still winning. How is that possible? It seems like a standard deck. Still standard tier elements. Nothing unique here. The one Shyama is something that, you know, people should be aware of here if you didn't see that. The Horus cards are just super strong, right? They only play 4 dangers. Take note of the Forbidden Droplets, no Imperm, right? Where are the hand traps? Tier Elements doesn't play hand traps. How did this deck win? It's just strong. It has gas. It's still a good deck, man. And I still think that you should be picking up these cores if you want to play. I don't think they're going to touch this deck any more than they already did unless they touch the Horus engine. I think they personally will. I think the engine is very strong, so they're going to have to check it, maybe putting Mseti down to 1 or 2. But I think they're going to check it somehow. But yeah, man, I thank you guys for appreciating these videos and coming in onto the stream, commenting on it, looking at these videos. Make sure to give a like, subscribe to the channel, man. We could talk more in depth. I love doing these type of videos. So here's the list one more time. Alright, guys. That's all for now. Thank you for checking in. Peace out. Talk to you soon. Bye.